Next up, why worry about climate change when the Earth is a pointless ball of shit? People say, don't they, say the best thing you can do for the planet is to become a vegan. Veganism? I don't think so. I think the best thing you can do for the planet is cannibalism. If you eat one other person, you've reduced your carbon footprint by 100%. If you really want to make a difference, eat a pilot. Joining us to discuss climate change, please welcome journalist George Monbiot. George, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Frankie.
I've been reading your stuff for a long time. Do you think we've broken the planet then?
Well, we're pretty screwed, yeah. But look, there's an interesting answer to the conundrum that you started with, because full-on climate breakdown, collapse of complex society, which, you know, it's not inconceivable already. Most of us will be dinging it out in the chemical desert until we've eaten almost everyone, right? But a small proportion of society will be able to buy places in their security condos in Kansas. You know, they're already selling these things for millions of pounds, where you can basically sit it out until everyone else has killed each other. Then you can emerge and repopulate the Earth, right? Now, let's just think about who the people are who are going to be able to afford these security condos, right? Donald Trump Jr., James Murdoch, Mel Gibson, Kanye West. You say the planet's a ball of shit already. So the incentive to prevent this from happening is obvious.
Also, the incentive to go there with the shotgun while they try and get into their condos. It's pretty high.
Yeah, well, they'll have security guards, but already, and I'm not kidding here, they are starting to think along these lines. They're saying, and they're getting consultants in to advise them on this, how do we pay our security guards when money becomes worthless? They're not asking, how do we prevent the collapse of life on Earth? They're asking, what are the technical measures we need to apply to make sure that we survive and everybody else dies?
Well, I've always wondered that. How come on day 2 after the apocalypse, like, the world isn't just ruled by bodyguards, essentially, and the currency probably dry hand jobs?
I need to find out what they are. I won't be able to work.
I'll show you after the show.
There's been some very worrying stories lately. So there's a story today that a lot of the ice in the Alps is going to melt over the course of the century. I mean, it all looks pretty bad from that point of view.
I mean, we're reaching the tipping points, and the trouble is you don't know it's a tipping point until it's tipped. It could be tomorrow. Like in the Younger Dryas, 10,800 years ago, Greenland temperatures rose 10 degrees in 1 decade. 10 degrees, just like that. And you go from basically a habitable climate to an uninhabitable climate. And that could just happen.
Fortunately, the next generation does seem to have got the message that we're all fucked. Unfortunately, we're all fucked. But that hasn't stopped these young people protesting in central London before being patronised on Politics Live.
I think that it's really important that we make a difference now before it's too late, because if we wait too long, it's going to become an irreversible change that our generation won't be able to stop.
So Lottie Tellin is here, one of the organisers and an A-level student. You've been helped by the weather, of course. It's a glorious day out there, isn't it?
It's pretty worrying when young people abandon apathy, isn't it?
It's so sad, but it is heartening to see, like, the passion and enthusiasm from very young people. But, like, I just feel guilty because we've, like, fucked it, and we're leaving it up to people who don't even know if they need the toilet before a car journey to fix it.
What would you say people should do, George, if they can do one thing?
I mean, what we have to do is the big structural, political, economic stuff. You know, what we're being told to do is change your cotton buds and all these sort of pathetic micro-consumerist bollocks, which just isn't going to get us anywhere. You know, there are 1 or 2 things you can do as a consumer which do make change. Switch to a plant-based diet. That's one. Big change, because animal farming has this massive environmental impact. Another one, stop flying. Yeah, but beyond that, actually everything we have to do is change the system. We have to overthrow this system which is eating the planet with perpetual growth. I mean, since when was GDP a sensible measure of human welfare? And yet everything that governments want to do is to try to boost GDP. Now, people like the OECD or the World Bank who say, oh, we're not asking for a lot of growth, just 3% a year. That means doubling in 24 years. Yeah, we're bursting through all the environmental boundaries and screwing the planet already. You want to double it? Double all that? Double it again? Keep doubling it? It's madness. We've got to find a better way of measuring human welfare than perpetual growth. We've got to start ramping down all fossil fuel production and leave fossil fuels in the ground. And at the same time, and this is a nice bit of it, it turns out that through massive rewilding, ecological restoration, you can draw down a load of the carbon dioxide we've already produced. Huge amounts, allowing the forests to come back, the marshes to come back, the sea floor to recover from trawling and stuff. They draw down carbon dioxide and can take us a long way towards stopping climate breakdown at the same time as stopping ecological breakdown. There's time, but we can't do it by just pissing around at the margins of the problem. We've got to go straight to the heart of capitalism and overthrow it.